swag. I'm in the zone, I'm getting though, that perk swag. Make that thing pop like it's in me over 9. Ooh, baby, like it raw with the shimmy, shimmy, yeah. Rolling doobies up, smoking section. Groupies rush, Olay boobies up in my direction. I don't beat my bitch, I need my bitch. She clean my crib, she feed my friends. She keep my secret, she a fashion killer. And I'm a trendy nigga. I sent her pistol go.
A$AP and Rihanna straight ahead here.
The night belongs to fashion killers A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. They step out for the awards, which celebrates excellence in fashion.
And being a girl dad at this point kind of makes you more vulnerable, and I'm ready for that stage of my life.
What if the same man who revolutionized hip-hop fashion and dated the richest woman in music almost lost everything in a Swedish jail cell, faced a potential life sentence, and walked out of a Los Angeles courtroom in February 2025 after being found not guilty of felony assault charges that could have sent him to prison for 24 years?
Find the defendant, Rakim Mayers. Not guilty.
A$AP Rocky built a $20 million empire while surviving 2 separate criminal trials, watching his brother get murdered, his father die in prison, and somehow turned that pain into a global phenomenon.
I'm hot. If I told her my degrees, pull up in that hot top, showing off my keys.
While never forgetting where he came from. And before this script ends, you'll understand why Rocky's story isn't just about surviving. It's about a kid from Harlem who refused to let circumstances define his destiny. October 3rd, 1988. Manhattan, New York.
We're on 116th right now between Manhattan Ave and Morningside. That's the block that I was born on in 88.
Rakim Athalaston Mayers was born into a world that didn't promise him anything. His mother, Renee Black, named him after the legendary rapper Rakim, one half of the iconic Eric B. and Rakim duo. His father, Adrian Mayers, was from Barbados, bringing Caribbean influence that would later connect Rocky to Rihanna in ways neither could have predicted. But the Harlem that raised Rocky wasn't the gentrified neighborhood with luxury condos and artisan coffee shops you see today. This was 1990s Harlem, crack epidemic Harlem, where survival meant navigating violence, poverty, and a system designed to break you before you turned 18. Rocky started rapping at age 8, learning from his older brother who wore the French braids that Rocky would later make iconic.
You know, I was rapping first at age 8, man, and I always had rap in there. Like it was always a hobby.
But when Rocky was 12 years old, his father went to jail for selling drugs.
He made bad choices. He used to, sell drugs for a living, and we had a good life up until he got caught.
The family's stability disappeared overnight.
Imagine being like the people in the family that everybody goes to when it's financial problems and it's trouble and stuff, and then, that empire falling.
Rocky's mother struggled to keep things together, but they lost their home. For periods of time, young Rakim Mayers lived in homeless shelters across New York City, watching his mother work multiple jobs just to keep food on the table.
I like to go into homeless shelters and stuff for me and my family, so that's how we ended up in there, yeah. I mean, I was still a kid, I was only like 13 and 14,
Then came the tragedy that would define Rocky's entire existence. When he was 13 years old, his older brother Ricky was murdered in Harlem.
I was 13 when he died. That was like 2002. It's crazy.
Right there on the block.
Yeah, he got killed on the same block he was born on.
Shot and killed on the same streets where Rocky had learned to rap, where he'd learned to survive. Rocky has said in interviews that watching his brother die changed everything. He realized that Harlem streets didn't care about your dreams or potential. They would swallow you whole if you let them.
Because that's the path that he chose, and I learned from my brother's mistakes, learned from my pop's mistakes, hustling, going to jail, falling off, trying to get back on, take care of all his kids.
The death inspired Rocky to take rapping more seriously. It wasn't just a hobby anymore. It was survival. It was the only way out of an environment that had already taken too much from him. He took the name A$AP Rocky, with A$AP Rocky standing for Always Strive and Prosper, a mantra born from watching prosperity evade everyone around him. In 2007, Rocky joined the A$AP Mob, a Harlem-based collective founded by A$AP Mob, A$AP Yams, and A$AP Bari.
But yeah, as I was saying, and to showcase our talents. For instance, when I started A$AP, pardon me, I didn't start A$AP. I joined in 2007. It was a crew from Harlem, if you guys don't know about it, that's my crew.
The crew wasn't just about music. They were redefining what Harlem hip-hop could be.
On my waist, chain on my face, money in the bank.
While New York rap had become synonymous with hardcore street narratives, ASAP Mob was blending Southern rap influences, cloud rap aesthetics, and high fashion sensibilities into something entirely new.
Where's he from? What does his sound like? What is New York music right now? What does it sound like?
But this created immediate controversy. Some New York purists criticized Rocky for his sound, which was influenced by internet culture and Southern rap, rather than traditional New York hip-hop.
And I wanted to prove to people that I can go from being an underground mixtape king to actually having a place in mainstream media. And I changed, culture for,
They called it weirdo rap, saying he wasn't representing real New York. Rocky didn't care. He was creating something new, and he knew it.
But at the same time, when you think about me, as far as my art goes, I want you to remember something a little more honorable. That's all. Problems is a very successful song to me.
ASAP Yams, born Steven Rodriguez, became Rocky's mentor and the architect behind ASAP Mob's vision. Yams understood the internet before most rappers even had Twitter accounts. He knew that you didn't need a major label to build a movement. You needed authenticity, consistency, and a sound that couldn't be ignored. In 2011, everything changed. Rocky released Peso and Purple Swag on YouTube. And the songs went viral almost immediately. This wasn't the Harlem rap people expected. Rocky was rapping about purple drink, fashion, and psychedelic experiences over beats that sounded more Houston than Harlem. The production was spacey, the flow was effortless, and Rocky's charisma was undeniable.
The rap industry took notice immediately. Record labels started a bidding war for Rocky's signature. In October 2011, Rocky signed a record deal with Pollock Grounds Music, RCA Records, and Sony Music Entertainment worth $3 million.
That I don't personally have $3 million. That's false. I'm not gonna sit here and stunt. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'll get it eventually, but I don't as of now. But my deal is worth $3 million. Yes, that's true.
A massive deal for an artist who'd never released an official album. The kid who'd been sleeping in shelters years earlier was now a millionaire. But Rocky did something smart with that money. He didn't blow it on cars and jewelry immediately. He secured his family, got his mother out of financial instability, and invested in ASAP Mob. He understood that the music industry was littered with one-hit wonders who got a check and disappeared. In January 2013, Rocky released his debut studio album, Long Live ASAP. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, moving 139,000 copies in its first week. The lead single, Effin' Problems, featuring Drake, 2 Chainz, and Kendrick Lamar, became a massive hit, reaching #8 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album featured production from Hit Boy, Clams Casino, and Danger Mouse, showcasing Rocky's ability to work with diverse producers and create cohesive projects. Songs like Goldie,
So tell it to my face, tell that bitch, hop up on my dick, roll up on it quick.
Wild for the Night featuring Skrillex,
Been a while out for the weekend.
and Fashion Killa
She a fashion killer, and I'm a trendy nigga. I said her pistol go.
demonstrated Rocky's range from street anthems to experimental production to fashion-obsessed braggadocio. But Rocky wasn't just making music. He was becoming a fashion icon.
And I changed, culture for, as far as fashion goes. I influenced a lot.
While most rappers wore designer clothes, Rocky understood fashion as art. He started attending fashion shows, sitting front row at Paris Fashion Week, and collaborating with designers like Raf Simons, Rick Owens, and Jeremy Scott. He was one of the first rappers to genuinely break into high fashion in a way that felt authentic rather than transactional. In 2015, Rocky released his second studio album, At Long Last ASAP, often stylized as ALA. The album was dedicated to ASAP Yams, who had tragically died in January 2015 from an accidental drug overdose at just 26 years old.
If you think about like ASAP Yams, the way he died, if you think about Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, they all fall victim to at least drugs.
Yams' death devastated Rocky and the entire ASAP mob.
Life ain't good without Yams.
funny as hell.
The man who had mentored Rocky, who had believed in him when he was nobody, was gone.
He to be compensated. He didn't know what was going to happen. He only had faith in me just as much as I had faith in myself. Yams had the connections, I had the talent and the vision. He had a vision, we put it together, and this is what happened.
ALLA debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, but the album was more experimental and introspective than Rocky's debut. Songs like LSD showcased Rocky's psychedelic influences.
I'm riding around with my system pumping LSD.
While Every Day, featuring Rod Stewart, and Electric Body, featuring Schoolboy Q, demonstrated his genre-blending ambitions. The album received critical acclaim for its artistic ambition. Rocky wasn't trying to recapture his 2011 sound. He was evolving, experimenting, pushing boundaries. He was making art, not just hits.
This album was just all about Flacco. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I'm on, that's what it's about. F everything else. I don't give a about nothing.
In 2018, Rocky released his third studio album, Testing. The album was Rocky's most experimental work yet, featuring production from Frank Ocean, Kid Cudi, FKA Twigs, and others. Songs like Praise the Lord, featuring Skepta, became hits, but the album as a whole divided critics and fans. Some praised Rocky's willingness to experiment and push boundaries. Others felt he'd gone too far from the sound that made him famous. Rocky's response was consistent. He was an artist, not a jukebox. In June 2019, while Rocky was in Stockholm, Sweden for a music festival, an incident occurred that would change his life. Rocky and his entourage were walking through Stockholm when two men began following them. Video footage captured Rocky repeatedly asking the men to stop following them, trying to de-escalate the situation. Eventually, a physical altercation occurred. Rocky and his bodyguard were involved in a fight with the men. Swedish police arrested Rocky and charged him with aggravated assault. What should have been a minor incident became an international controversy. Rocky was held in Swedish custody for 3 weeks under conditions he later described as inhumane. Confined to a cell with no bed, forced to sleep on a yoga mat, given food that was barely edible.
Them pictures, they was exaggerating. It's a little cottage. It's like they give you a cot to sleep on, but everything else is like clean in comparison to Rikers.
The world watched as one of America's biggest rap stars sat in a foreign jail, not knowing if he'd ever get out. The case became a cause celeb. Fellow artists like Tyler, the Creator, and Jaden Smith started the hashtag Justice for Rocky campaign. Kim Kardashian contacted her husband, Kanye West, who reached out to then-President Donald Trump. Trump publicly called for Rocky's release and sent a special envoy to Sweden to monitor the trial.
People including the US President Donald Trump, also celebrities like Kanye West, Kim Kardashian West, Justin Bieber, they believed that he should be freed while he awaited the trial.
Rocky was eventually found guilty of assault, but given a conditional sentence, meaning he wouldn't serve additional jail time beyond the month he'd already spent in custody. He was released and returned to the United States in August 2019. But the experience had changed him. Rocky spoke about the psychological toll of being imprisoned in a foreign country, not knowing if he'd ever get out, watching his career potentially crumble while he sat in a cell, unable to do anything about it.
A$AP Rocky and 2 others who were on trial, guilty of assault here in the Swedish capital at the end of June.
But Rocky didn't let the Sweden incident break him. He returned to music with renewed focus.
Yo, who that? Yo, it's Flacco. I got some party favors.
And in 2020, he began dating Rihanna, one of the biggest stars of the planet and the wealthiest female musician in the world. The two had been friends for years. Rocky had opened for Rihanna's Diamond World Tour back in 2013, and they'd maintained a friendship throughout the years. But in 2020, that friendship evolved into something more. Their relationship was different from Rihanna's previous high-profile romances. Rocky and Rihanna had a genuine history. They understood each other's worlds, the pressure of fame, the demands of building business empires, the challenge of staying authentic while operating at the highest levels of entertainment. Rocky described her as the love of my life in interviews.
I look for ways to say I love you, but I ain't into making love.
And and the world watched as two of entertainment's biggest icons built something real together. In May 2022, Rocky and Rihanna welcomed their first son, Riza Athelstan Meyers. The name honored Rocky's birth name, Rakim Athelstan, and paid tribute to Wu-Tang Clan founder RZA. Rocky embraced fatherhood publicly, talking about how becoming a parent had changed his perspective on life, responsibility, and legacy. He was determined to be the father he never had: present, supportive, engaged.
I love this dad thing, you know? That's the best part about being a dad. Having the excuse of being a dad. Be a good dad, be an active dad, be a present dad. That's my advice, you know what I mean?
But just weeks before RZA's birth, Rocky faced another legal crisis that threatened to destroy everything he'd built. In April 2022, Rocky was arrested at Los Angeles International Airport in connection with a November 2021 shooting incident in Hollywood. He was accused of firing a gun at a former friend and ASAP mob member named ASAP Terrell Efron during an argument. The charges were serious: 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. If convicted, Rocky could face up to 24 years in prison. The case went to trial, and for months, Rocky's freedom hung in the balance. He was facing the possibility of missing his children's childhoods, of losing everything he'd built, of returning to the system that had already taken his father and brother. Rocky maintained his innocence throughout the ordeal. His legal team argued that he had fired a starter pistol, one that shoots blanks, not live ammunition, and that he'd acted in self-defense after being provoked. The prosecution argued that Rocky had used a real semi-automatic weapon and had endangered public safety by firing in Hollywood. In August 2023, while the case was still ongoing, Rihanna and Rocky welcomed their second son, Riot Rose Meyers, 2 boys.
I would have to say RZA is more like me. Riot is like his mom. He's very witty and stubborn. RZA, he's more of an introvert.
Rocky was determined to be present for them, to break generational cycles, to show his sons that they didn't have to navigate the violence and instability that defined his childhood. But the trial loomed over everything. Throughout 2023 and 2024, the legal battle continued. Rocky rejected a plea deal in January 2025, choosing instead to fight the charges in court. He believed in his innocence and was willing to risk everything to prove it. Rihanna stood by his side through it all, attending court hearings, making public statements supporting him, and continuing to build their family despite the uncertainty. Then came February 2025, and the verdict that would determine Rocky's fate. After months of testimony, evidence, and legal arguments, the jury reached a decision. Rocky was found not guilty on both felony assault charges. He was free. He wasn't going to prison. He would be home with his children.
Not guilty. That was the verdict as a jury acquitted rapper A$AP Rocky of felony gun charges that could have landed him in jail for more than 20 years.
Rocky expressed immense relief after the verdict. Rihanna was present in the courtroom to support him, and the couple left together, finally able to move forward without the weight of potential prison time hanging over their lives. Rocky had survived another brush with the system that had already taken so much from him. In 2024, Rocky released Don't Be Dumb, his first studio album in 6 years. The project addressed his legal troubles, fatherhood, his relationship with Rihanna, and his evolution as an artist. The album featured production from Pharrell Williams, Metro Boomin, and others, with guest appearances from Tyler the Creator, J. Cole, and Rihanna herself. Songs like DMB, which stood for That's My celebrated his relationship with Rihanna while addressing the challenges they'd faced together. The music video featured actual footage of Rocky and Rihanna's relationship, including intimate moments with their children. It was Rocky at his most vulnerable and authentic, showing the world that he was more than just a rapper or fashion icon. He was a father, a partner, a man who'd survived unimaginable challenges. The album received critical acclaim for its honesty and musical evolution. Rocky wasn't trying to recapture his 2011 sound, he was showing who he'd become after years of trials, tribulations, and growth. Then, in September 2025, Rocky and Rihanna welcomed their third child, a daughter named Rocky Irish Meyers. After 2 boys, they finally had their girl. The name Rocky connected to Rocky's name and legacy, while Irish honored Rihanna's ancestral heritage. Rocky posted emotional messages about fatherhood, about raising a daughter in a world that's so
so often devalues women, about wanting to show his daughter what real love and respect look like. Rocky joined her older brothers, Riza and Riot, completing the family Rocky had been building. In the months following Rocky's birth, Rocky has been more private than during his previous experiences with fatherhood, choosing to keep this intimate time with his daughter away from public scrutiny.
But even with 3 children and a billionaire partner, Rocky hasn't stopped working. In November 2025, Rocky faced another legal issue when he was sued for over $1.1 million after an alleged flood in his New York condo. The lawsuit claims that the flooding was caused by a burst hot water pipe in Rocky's unit, which was exacerbated by a contractor who allegedly left windows open during freezing temperatures, making a downstairs neighbor's unit completely uninhabitable. The suit alleges negligence by both Rocky and the contractor for the extensive damage. Despite these ongoing legal challenges, Rocky continues building his empire. His partnership with Puma has revolutionized the brand, bringing it back to cultural relevance through innovative designs that blend motorsport aesthetics with urban streetwear. The collections have sold out repeatedly, crashing Puma's website on multiple launch dates. Rocky has proven he's not just a celebrity endorser, he's a legitimate creative force in fashion. As of 2025, A$AP Rocky's net worth is estimated at $20 million. While significantly less than Rihanna's $1.4 billion fortune, Rocky has built substantial wealth through music, fashion collaborations, his AWGE creative agency, and various business ventures. He's collaborated with brands like Dior, Guess, and Under Armour, and continues commanding high fees for features and performances. But Rocky's legacy isn't just about money. He's one of the most influential figures in bridging hip-hop and high fashion. He's maintained his loyalty to Harlem and A$AP Mob, even as he's operated on global stages. He's been open about mental health, trauma, and the challenges of breaking generational cycles. There have been other controversies beyond the legal issues. In 2016, Rocky made controversial comments about the Black Lives Matter movement in an interview, calling it a bandwagon at one point and suggesting he didn't want to be pigeonholed into speaking about political issues just because he's black.
You don't always hear their content being about, the political going on or all that other. I feel like, why put me on a pedestal for that, especially when I'm not asking for that?
The comments sparked significant backlash, and Rocky later attempted to clarify his statements, explaining that he felt pressured to speak on topics he didn't feel equipped to address, and that his words were taken out of context.
I would like to talk about what I'm currently going through for me. You get what I'm saying?
His relationship with A$AP Bari became strained after Bari faced sexual assault allegations in 2017. Rocky has also been candid about his struggles with substance abuse, particularly his use of psychedelics and lean. He's talked about how fatherhood forced him to confront these issues and prioritize his health and presence for his children. Looking ahead, Rocky has teased new music, fashion collaborations, and potential film projects. He's talked about wanting to act more, having appeared in the 2015 film Dope in a memorable role.
Hey, throw this behind the bar for my little home. Let me get around the shots. Cheers.
With 3 children now, Rocky has said he's more selective about touring and travel, prioritizing family time while still building his creative empire. His relationship with Rihanna has redefined what a modern celebrity couple can be. 2 entrepreneurs with individual empires who support each other's visions while building a family. They're rarely photographed together, keeping their relationship largely private, despite being 2 of the most famous people on Earth. Rocky is teaching Riza, Riot, and Rocky what he learned on those Harlem streets: loyalty, resilience, and the importance of staying true to yourself even when the world demands conformity. He's showing them that success isn't about escaping where you came from. It's about transforming it, carrying it with you, and using it as fuel to build something greater. From homeless shelters to Dior campaigns, from watching his brother die in Harlem to raising 3 children with a billionaire. From a Swedish jail cell to walking free from a Los Angeles courtroom. From peso to DMB. From being criticized for not sounding New York enough to redefining what New York hip-hop could be. A$AP Rocky's story isn't a fairy tale. It's a testament to what happens when you refuse to let circumstances define your destiny. The kid from Harlem who slept in shelters became the man standing next to the richest woman in music, raising a daughter named after his legacy, and teaching his sons that they don't have to choose between staying true to where they're from and reaching for something greater. And somewhere in Harlem, on those same streets that took his brother and his father, young kids are watching A$AP Rocky and believing that maybe, just maybe, they can make it out too. Not by forgetting where they came from, but by carrying Harlem with them everywhere they go. Always strive and prosper. That's not just a name. It's a promise Rocky made to himself when he had nothing, and a promise he's kept even now that he has everything.